Rec League Podcast. Tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell your family, tell your haters. Available on Spotify, Anchor, Radio Public, Google Podcasts, Breaker, and Stitcher. At Rec League Podcast on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. At Rec League Pod on Twitter. Episode 30 coming soon. Yo, whether you watching this from Facebook, Twitter, click the link in my Instagram, or YouTube itself. What up, world? So I just watched A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood. It stars Tom Hanks, Matthew Rhys, Susan Kalecki Watson. I hope that's how you pronounce her name. Chris Cooper, Enrico Canatoli, Tammy Blanchard, Wendy McKenna, and Noah Harpster. It's directed by Marielle Heller. And if you want to get a shout out in my review of Knives Out, stay tuned to the end of the video to figure out how you can do that. So, you got Matthew Rhys. He is an author. I don't know. He's a journalist. He's a journalist for a magazine, and he gets the assignment to do an interview with Mr. Rogers, played by Tom Hanks. I was actually excited for this movie from that very first press release leaked picture of Tom Hanks in the Mr. Rogers sweater, just sitting on his trailer or whatever it was, just a little teaser image. Cause at one point or another, man, everybody has watched Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, and everybody within my age group was practically raised on Tom Hanks movies since Forrest Gump. Not even knowing what the movie's about. Oh, Tom Hanks is Mr. Rogers. I can't wait to see this. I damn near loved this movie. Matthew Rhys works for a magazine. He gets the job. He has repressed emotions. He's just, I don't know if the word is cynical, because I'm not gonna come out here and be one of these reviewers that always acts like they know what they're talking about. He's so deadpan and serious, and he has let his past, he's let the tragedies of his life kind of take away his joy, if you feel what I'm saying. And he meets Mr. Rogers, and Mr. Rogers is just, as you could imagine, the nicest dude. It was never an act for Mr. Rogers. There was a documentary, a real popular documentary that came out last year, the year before, and it was never an act. Mr. Rogers in real life was who he was on camera. And there's a moment where Rhys asks Tom Hanks, where I forget Matthew Rhys's character's name, but he asks Mr. Rogers, he's how do you, basically it's how do you balance? And Mr. Rogers kind of looks at him bitch, this ain't a game to me. But and full disclosure, man, my YouTube channel, my movie review, my reaction to the movie, I'm a grown man and I'm comfortable with me. I nearly cried almost 4 different times watching this movie. This is one of the most emotional watches of the year for me. I'm sorry I don't get into a lot of film festival darling A24, just highly acclaimed movies, man, but this is one of the most dramatic, emotional, relatable movies I have seen all year, because Matthew Rhys and his past, and who really affected his past. I've had similar situations. I'm not gonna go into any detail, but that's just, when you can relate to a movie on a personal level, it just makes you just enjoy it that much more. And the performances were great. They do something with editing and transitioning and the screen. I don't know if it's the frame rate again. I'm not gonna pretend to know every nook and cranny of filmmaking and all this. But see, I don't want to get into it because it's so cool. If you see the movie, when most scenes, most travel moments something is done that I loved. I loved like the intro to the characters, Mr. Rogers and Matthew Rhys character. Um, Sterling K. Brown's wife from This Is Us, Susan Kalecki Watson. She's dope. She's his anchor. She's Matthew Rhys's wife and anchor in the movie, and she tries to like keep him in check, tries to like focus on home, like we got this going on, but at the same time, like the relationship, like there's a mutual respect in there, and it was just I don't know what I expected. I expected to like it because, like I've said before in reviews past, like Tom Hanks is a national treasure, and this just goes to prove it more and more, man. I wouldn't be surprised if this movie got a ton of nominations, especially because yeah, like I think I read somewhere that Tom Hanks might get nominated for Best Supporting Actor, and he should because he's not the main character. He's not even really the lead. Like he's Tom Hanks. He's playing the title character, if you will, but he's not the main focus. You know what I'm saying? Like Matthew Rhys is the central focus of the movie. And I, if you want me to complain, my one complaint about this movie might be that Tom Hanks doesn't really look like Mr. Rogers, but in every other sense of the imagination, he became Mr. Rogers. He he locked in and he became Mr. Rogers, man. Like I can imagine like Tom Hanks's every day to day being like that nice of a guy, like trying to see the good in every aspect of life. It's crazy. Like I was I really like this movie. Like this is 2 weeks in a row that a movie is like bulldozed this way into my favorite movies of the year, man. With all that being said, in my opinion, I will say that A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood is almost dope as fuck. Just like Ford versus Ferrari, like I feel like I should give it a dope as fuck, but there's just like this one thing that I can't pinpoint that's just holding me back from giving it the perfect five. So if you've seen A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, what did you think about it, man? Positive, negative, somewhere in between. Let me know. If you want that shout out in my review of Knives Out, watch my theater mess around and not even get Knives Out. How much will Frozen 2 make opening weekend, man? Be the first, be the closest. Get your guesses in by noon Central Time Sunday, and you get shouted. Um, I tomorrow want to see Frozen. I want to see 21 Bridges. Next week, I'm gonna watch The Irishman probably Thursday before football, before food, before all that. Like Thanksgiving, I'm gonna wake up and just spend 3.5 hours watching The Irishman on Thursday, and then I probably won't be able to see Knives Out until Friday, but I'll be off work, man, so I can knock it out early, honestly. I've recently posted reviews for Charlie's Angels, Ford versus Ferrari, Terminator, Last Christmas, Midway, October stuff. There was a hiccup and miscommunications, cancellations in what was going to be my last Rec League podcast episode. Had to be postponed, but we're gonna do a big Scorsese discussion. I honestly can't wait. Um, so like I said, and the first weekend after Knives Out and The Irishman get reviewed, I probably won't review anything until Jumanji and maybe hopefully Bombshell. Because I don't want to see Black Christmas, Whack Christmas. I don't want to see the Black Christmas remake, and nothing comes out the week before that, man. It's almost December. Like, subscribe, comment. Find me where you find me, man. Don't know where to find me. Watch these credits. Peace.